another Solid Gold podcast.
And it is yet again that time of the week where we have the two non-blondes. Can we call ourselves that? Do you remember the band, the four non-blondes, Jenni Baxter?
I do remember them, I think. I don't remember what they sang.
I'll start singing it to you when I remember. But anyway, yes, so Jenni is over in Antibes in France, looking nice and warm with her scarf on. So obviously it's a bit chillier there today as usual. And a bit chilly here in Johannesburg as well. I am Melanie Walker, and we are talking about what is happening in the world of SAPeople.com. So, what is happening, Jenni Baxter?
Hello. Well, you tell me. We've been reporting about it, but it seems that you have two state of disasters going on at the moment.
We do.
But we've been loving all the humor that's come out of it. And somebody said on Facebook the other day on our SA People page, they said, what you've got to love is it's in South Africans' blood to be funny and find the humor in all our cuck.
Yep.
So.
I like that, yeah. But it's true. I mean, I'm sitting here and thinking the only state of disaster is the fact that we have the government that is running our country. So that's the disaster, a total disaster. I mean, they should just give up I can't say while they're ahead, but I can't see it getting any better either. So.
Do you know that apparently, according to an ANC internal poll, they are currently only 10% ahead of the DA, which I find really hard to believe, but apparently that's what the DA said in a statement I was writing about yesterday. But yeah, you've got two state of disasters, apart from the Melanie created one, Melanie nominated ones. You didn't create the government. The one is the load shedding. That's been declared a state of disaster. And so now everybody's looking for a minister of electricity.
Yes, I sent you that thing, didn't I? Where, in fact, funny. The head of the department is now going and putting that tweet out where the person is like the minister of electricity is standing there blowing things up. I mean, that is really sad, where the person who's supposed to be fixing things is sort of tweeting that kind of stuff. To say, yeah, no, we know, but okay, so go and do something instead of tweeting nonsense. There we go. Right.
So funny. And then I also saw people were suggesting that what's his name should do it, Derek Watts, possibly purely because of his surname, but also he is pretty together. Derek Watts from Carte Blanche, for anybody who didn't know. And then you have another state of disaster, national state of disaster.
Is that the water?
Which is being declared the floods, being declared this week, Well, I didn't know. I think if a state of disaster was declared, it was.
I don't know. Did we hear that? I kind of live in my own little world. But yes, there's been lots and lots of rain. I've been looking at the stuff coming in from Limpopo and Mpumalanga specifically. But if it's always a disaster if there's too much rain or too little rain. Yeah. So I know that too much is a pain.
And it is what you said. It is La Nina that is causing too much rain.
Yeah, but we're going to be going into El Nino soon, which means we're not going to have rain at all. So
okay. So keep it while you've got it.
Keep it while you got it. Yeah.
Dance in the rain.
Dance in it. Put on those wellies and go and jump in puddles. That's one of my favorite things.
And a big shout out to all those honorary rangers in the Kruger, because, the Krugers really suffered with the floods. A lot of people had to be evacuated. Even the staff had to be evacuated to safer places. I think it's the Crocodile and Olifants River that both flooded. But a shout out to those honorary rangers who got all the rubbish. I mean, they are bigger than a bucky. I don't know what we call something that's bigger than a bucky. But a truck. With a huge heap of plastic rubbish. You can't believe how much rubbish it got into the river.
Oh, yeah, no, I can. I can totally believe it because I live near the Spruit in Johannesburg, and that's just whenever there's rain, everything comes down from Hillbrow through the Spruit. So, and then, of course, that follows on. It goes to Hartbeespoort, and from the Hartbeespoort, of course, goes through to Limpopo. But anyway, so if you see, I cannot stress this enough. When you're going out and you see rubbish, pick it up.
Yeah.
Even if it's on your front verge or whatever, don't think that there's somebody who's going to come around and tidy up the verge for you. Go and pick it up. Put it in a bin, recycle it, do something, anything's good. Anyway, so yeah, we find a lot of humor in the things that are going wrong. And, I know there's a lot of people who get really, really stressed about, we've got no power. And they said, well, how do you deal with it? And I'm just like, I have solar lamps if it's nighttime. I have the rechargeable lamps, so I can put those on. But I have a thing that keeps the Wi-Fi going for a couple of hours, which keeps the children happy, which is fine. And frankly, I don't really need electricity. I mean, because I cook with gas. So there we go.
Cooking on gas. But Shane, there are a lot of people who unfortunately do need it. So yeah. I do hope it all gets addressed really soon. And I think that the opposition politicians are really using the moment.
Yeah. Seize the moment.
Yes, because, it's the elections next year. So for South Africans in England, you're about to be bombarded. This evening, except it's slightly different. So first of all, Action SA next Wednesday will be in London. Your best mate Herman Mashaba.
Yeah, the turncoat. Yeah.
Yeah, will be there talking about the state of the nation. And then tonight, this should be really interesting for South Africans everywhere, actually, not just in England. Everybody who has lost their South African citizenship or who doesn't even know that they've lost their South African citizenship, go on to SAPeople and you will see details on how to register for a Zoom webinar on Wednesday evening, 15th of February, with Adrian Ruiz, who's from the DA. He's the Shadow Deputy Minister of Home Affairs. The DA will be going on the 23rd of February to the Supreme Court of Appeal to try and get this overturned. This crazy law that came into being in, we've spoken about it before, 1995. There was no notification, and, over 25 years later, whatever it is, I don't know, South Africans are still inadvertently losing their citizenship. Home Affairs claims they're doing it deliberately. We get hundreds of emails. People are devastated. They did not do it deliberately. They did not know they were going to lose it. And the insane thing is that everyone who applies for a letter of retention before getting their second citizenship, which is the way that you have to do it, so everyone who is informed and does it, they get accepted immediately. So it's a pointless exercise. It's just to make money.
Yep.
So...
Like renewing your driver's license every 5 years and you don't actually have to go and do the test. I mean, it's just crazy. Honestly.
That's crazy. So not even an eye test?
No, you do an eye test. But, but I mean, you don't get tested to see if you can still drive.
Yeah.
So it's just a money-making racket. I mean, all of those things. So, I mean, it is about time that somebody actually turned around and said, hey, this is not cool. Stop doing this,
Yeah. And I like there were 2 points that were brought up. The one was people always say, oh, but you should know, you should have done your due diligence, blah, 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 blah. But one of the things is that the officials at the SA embassies have been giving the wrong advice.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that you can't judge people on, I don't know what the word is, kind of perfect human behavior, because most of us don't, so rather put it in our face, rather really tell us, and make sure the notification goes out there and that all the South Africans know about it. And then, a lot of South Africans back home say, oh, but you never lose your residency, so what's the big deal? And the big deal is that when the people who have gone back, many of them have really battled to, even though they're residents, to get their permanent residency and to get their citizenship. There was a guy who said on our page yesterday, he's already spent over 100,000 Rand to try and get his permanent residency. He's been back in South Africa over 5 years living permanently. So it's not easy.
No, it just makes no sense whatsoever. Anyway, let's get on to something more interesting.
Even fabber.
Something good. What have you got here with Khaleesi?
Oh, so it's the UK super vet. He's in the UK, he's their favorite vet, and he's got a safari special coming up at the end of February, the 23rd of February on Channel 4. And he basically spent time in South Africa. He went around to orphanages and sanctuaries, so it's animals that really need help. And there's this little orphaned rhino who I think hyenas had attacked, and they had destroyed his front right foot. And we've all been...
Is this the one that they made the prosthetic?
Exactly. And it's the first... So we've been following him for years, and he's had all kinds of things to try and, walk normally. And now it's the first little rhino foot prosthetic in the world. And the UK...
The way you said that, it's like, Jenny, oh my goodness, it's just so cute.
I'm sorry. I know with Tara and her prosthetic, I know what it's like getting a prosthetic and having that freedom to walk. Well, via her, I know. So the UK super vet is Prof. Noel Fitzpatrick, and he took part in it, and his expertise has helped to make a little dream come true for Khaleesi. Okay, maybe Khaleesi didn't know.
Okay, right. Okay, that just made me happy. All right, so what news have you got in from expats?
Well, from Turkey, there has been, you've probably heard the amazing news about the South African Police Service's dogs who managed to sniff, they were sent to Turkey along with Gift of the Givers, and they managed to sniff a woman, an 8-year-old woman who was who was still alive, and so she's been rescued, and there may still be another couple of people that they think are also in that rubble alive. And then Kasim Borat, remember I told you he's from Gift of the Givers, and we're sort of following him and his story from there. And he said the kindness of the people whose buildings have fallen like pancakes, is just amazing. So a couple of days ago, the South Africans are staying at a stadium, and it is freezing cold, so they're camping there. And so they went to go and buy wood and coal to try and make fires in the evening. And they kind of hitched a ride with some random Bucky guy who'd lost his house. He took them to a shop that had been closed down because it was destroyed. They found the shopkeeper. Altogether, they got $100 worth of wood and coal. The Bucky driver took them back. The Bucky was full, took them back, and he said to the guy, let us pay you the $100 and plus for the, taxiing us. And apparently the guy turned around and he said, no, please don't give us the money. Please rather pay us by praying for me and my family. So please send out lots of prayers for lots of people in Turkey and Syria, devastated by the earthquake.
And this is the one thing I was explaining to a couple of people that, we sit here and we're bemoaning the fact that we have issues here, we don't have electricity, this, that, and the other. And I sit there and I think, you know what? Your lives could be so much worse. Think about how awesome our lives are. What you've got, be thankful for it. Anyhow, now, so we're going to talk about something now. Or we're going to talk about it just now. I think we should do it now. It is such a South African thing. I was trying to explain as well about, in England, we say, just now. Oh, I saw him just now, which means I saw him a little while ago. If we say I'm going to do it just now, it can either be I'm going to do it just now, which means any time between now and eternity, or I did it or I saw him just now. Or just now, we're going to do it and what is now? No, I'm going to do it now. It means quicker than just now. So what, there was somebody that you had who was a Dutch expat, Yvonne in the bush, who was explaining this on your site, yeah?
She is so brilliant, and I think for everyone around the world, it's a wonderful way of staying in touch with South Africa, because she's on a game reserve in KwaZulu-Natal, and a proper foreigner getting to grips with South Africa. And everybody who's ever moved abroad knows people get so frustrated with us when we say, oh, yeah, I'll be there now.
I'll be there just now.
They wait. They walk outside their door and wait for us. And it's like, oh. No.
I was like,
yeah. So she's done, to me, her explanation of what now, and just now are perfect. Because I think it's always easier for someone on the outside who has to quickly learn and interpret meanings, than us trying to explain, although you did a pretty good job. Yeah.
There's so many different things we can put in. Yeah. Okay. So just now we'll be talking about that too. All right. So what local good news have you been finding here that might be of interest to our listeners today?
Well, kind of funny, and I'm not so sure, was Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis, who didn't hold back Russian warship on its way to Durban. They've got the naval exercises. Yeah.
Didn't hold back. I saw that. I was like, you go, boy, you go. Yeah.
I know. So he tweeted, well, first of all, the Russian consulate tweeted how wonderful that Cape Town was hosting this warship. And he was like, we are not hosting your warship. Move on, mate.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and he
Footsack.
Exactly. And then, he said footsack, but he also said something even more, I don't know, sweary. I don't know what the, okay, which was those letters, RWSGFY, which I think went over most South Africans' heads, not realizing what he was saying.
I know what GFY is.
Yeah, and RWS is Russian warship.
Oh, it's Russian warship. Okay.
Yeah.
GFY. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have GFY'd and are on their way off to, or they have footsacked, and they're getting close to Durban, Richards Bay, where they're going to be doing those naval drills until the 27th of February, I think. Already Pierre de Charmois, remember he was
yes.
Well, he was our mate. I grew up with him, but he was a famous singer in South Africa at some point. And Pierre was saying yesterday they could hear the planes going over, getting ready for this whole thing. And then somebody else wrote, it was just the way they wrote it. They went, oh, those Russians. But it's just
oh, Lordy,
apparently a bit of a scene there.
But it was also, I mean, somebody has been putting up, it was Tat Wolfen, who's a critic when it comes to movies and things like that, and critical of everything else, actually, if I think about dear old Tat. But he was just saying how Russia actually, as a workable country with its taxes and state and whatever, although, a lot of it leaves a lot to be desired, is actually kind of quite successful. Unfortunately, the people who follow Russia don't follow those ideals in how to actually run a country. But no, we want them running a country like they do in Russia either, or going and invading. I mean, do we even have an army here that could go and invade anything? I don't know.
Well, yeah, the army's in Mozambique. We've got people from our army in Mozambique, and our army is actually going somewhere in the next week or two to take part in something international.
Well, the army's hiding up some minister's sleevey, as far as I'm concerned. Right. Okay, so now I see that a lot of people have been talking about Richard Quest, and I keep on going, who is this person? What is this Richard Quest? Why?
Okay, so
he's not a name that I kind of know, or is he an influencer or something like that?
Huger than that. He's on CNN Business News, and so like when you have Davos, things like that, he's there. He's one of CNN's main business guys. He also has a program called Quest World of Wonder, which is more a travel thing. But on the business side, so he went to South Africa, and South Africans are in love with him because he said the most brilliant things about South Africa. You might have your problems, but you are the friendliest, most warm, welcoming, beautiful country in the world.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Is a huge thing coming from somebody who travels so much. However, he was very good at making a distinction between the beautiful people, the conversations, the culture, I think he said, beauty around every corner, blah, 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 and the government. And he sort of tweeted out to Ramaphosa and said, next time we have to talk. And while he was there, he did interviews with business people and tourism people about the devastating impact of load shedding. And, and he just said, it's unbelievable. Not how you can run a country that you're hoping is going to, play in first world stages kind of thing, arenas.
Didn't we used to be a first world country?
You know what I loved about what Richard Quest said? Sorry, I'm just taking you away. Is he got to his hotel in South Africa within half an hour, the load shedding struck. So he really did experience it. But he took a photo in the morning, and of the iconic Table Mountain, and it was like, there's a mountain spoiling my view.
Yeah, that mountain is really quite a hard thing when it comes to the fact that you sometimes just don't get reception from one side of the city to the other when it comes to phones. I know.
And
it's
then
very
it was
frustrating.
so cute. Everybody was tweeting him saying, next time you've got to come visit us. And then even Lion's Head tweeted him saying, we were here the whole time, because he hadn't spotted them. But back to State of Disaster, a lot of people said Richard Quest should apply for the 1 billion rand tourism budget. Instead of them giving it to Tottenham Hotspurs, they should give it to him. And somebody else rightly pointed out that, instead of spending money outside of South Africa, rather spend it in South Africa so that people like Richard come and gush about the country.
Exactly. I have no idea what planet those people who work in the tourism department here in South Africa, or the Minister of Tourism, whoever it happens to be this week, I have no idea what planet maybe they've been down to Pondoland and been smoking some of that good stuff, because seriously, what were they thinking? I mean, that's just like created absolute nightmare. But anyway, so what are the other good news things? I mean, I did see that you had something, and for those of us who are celebrating, as today is February the 15th, it's Singles Awareness Day here and across the world. Okay, because some
does
of us
it have
don't
to
do
be awareness? Can it not be celebratory?
Well, because we celebrate being single, yes.
Okay.
Some people think that, your life can't be complete unless you have another person in it. Well, we all have people in our lives. We just don't have one that's a romantic partner. My primary relationship, of course, is with my couch.
Well, I think Valentine's Day, I feel like the whole world, but particularly South Africa, went out of their way to spread a lot of love yesterday. There was the most brilliant, Miley Cyrus.
I'll get there eventually. Miley Cyrus, yes.
Has that brilliant video. It's so empowering. Flowers. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's on SAPeople, but I'll send it to you afterwards. It is so empowering, and it's all about nobody can love me better than me, And then this South African comedian, he did a video yesterday, which was, I can like you better than Eskom can, and I won't bring you flowers, but I will bring you candles, and it's so good. There was that. There were all the.
Don't bring me flowers. Bring me a generator.
Yeah,
I want solar.
There was solar stuff, and then Lyft Airline.
Yeah.
They did a beautiful thing, which is from Johannesburg to Cape Town on one of those flights. They gave everybody flowers. What else do you get? Chocolates. Yes. What else do you get on Valentine's Day? I've forgotten. It's been so long. And
I sent you a kiss.
Thank you. And then they also had a comedian on board and a saxophonist. So
lovely. Serenading
what a lovely
people.
flight. And here, Cassie and I were walking through Antibes, and they had done the same thing here. There was this so beautiful. I posted a photo yesterday. They were handing out roses to all of us. Yeah.
Lovely.
What a lovely village.
Yes. What a great
Come and
village.
visit.
I'm going to. Okay, and of course, this past weekend was Midmar, and the amount of people I know who actually went and swam the Midmar, and their kids who swam it, and it was like really, it's just such an amazing race, and the amount of kind of good feeling that comes around it as well.
Yeah, so beautiful. And apart from the main winners, for me, one of the best stories was 76-year-old guy who has done it, because this weekend they were celebrating the 50th Midmar Mile. He's done every single one.
Wow.
Can you believe that? So he's done all 50, and when he swam at this time, he, instead of swimming alone, he had a friend on either side of him, because normally he zigzags. So his friends kept him on the straight and narrow, and both friends had also swum it on the very first one 50 years before.
And who's this guy? What's his name?
Mike Pengeli.
Pengeli. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and he'll do it again next year. Well, he said he'll pitch up. He's not sure if he'll do it, but he'll pitch up next year.
Well, I think that all of them deserve a bells. Ding,
Yeah.
ding. Okie dokie. So, what have we got in the way of entertainment? And of course, this is the part that really, really enjoy. We're having a discussion this morning as to, whether we should have DSTV, if you have DSTV now, it's Showmax, Netflix. These days, I'm sitting there and thinking, well, I need to get my DSTV PVR fixed, but I don't want to take it into there because then they give you a new one. And of course, I have all my shows recorded on there, so I just need to get it fixed. But there's so much that we can watch that, we're spoiled for choice at the moment, really.
Yeah. And they are putting their prices up next month. But it's less than was predicted and less than normal. It's like a 4.25% increase or something, the annual increase. And then remember, we've spoken about that Showmax special on until about the 3rd or 6th of March to get the 2 months for the price of one. And I was thinking, you're a loyal customer, so you should get it too.
One would think. One would think. I've been with DSTV since it first started, Yeah. And it was just Mnet. But anyway, so there are some really good things on, and I know that Dumb season 2, and that's DAM, not dumb as in Dumber and Dumber. It's a South African show. Then somebody
that
else
starts on Thursday.
Yeah, it starts. Season 2 starts. But then I saw somebody else had put. It's on Netflix. Another something shot in South Africa, and I've got it. I can't remember. Me and my brain. I have no brain.
Okay, I'll tell you about something else and you see if you can remember. So I can't wait to watch this. It is a Girl Taken, and it has apparently been filmed really, really sensitively and not sensationally. It's that true story about a girl who was stolen in Cape Town as a baby, and for 17 years her parents searched for her. Yeah. And then when one of their daughters went to high school, somebody said, "Oh, you look a lot like that other girl." And it turned out she'd been living just down the road, kind of thing. And when the mother who had stolen her, the non-biological mother had stolen her, when it all went to trial and everything, it was all so upsetting that the girl herself then chose that family, the family that stole her. So, her real parents have gone through the heartbreak twice of her being stolen as a baby and then choosing the thieves. So,
I found it. New season of Kings of Joburg.
Kings of Joburg.
Yeah, on Netflix.
Okay, I'll write that down to watch.
Yeah, so I thought I'll have a look because apparently the people who have watched it said it's absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. And who are the kings? Do we know?
I don't know. You're going to have to watch.
Okay, we'll report back next week.
We will do that indeed. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that we can watch, a lot of great South African stuff. And whenever I go anywhere, of course, I tell everybody, don't forget that you need to watch
our favorite.
Yes.
Donkerbos.
Donkerbos.
Yeah.
I'm still telling everybody. Good. So, by the way, Friday the 17th is Flip Flop Day. And it's the CHOC Foundation, which is the Childhood Cancer Foundation, and the cows are always involved in it, and they do like those big rides and they dress up like cows, and they do they were at the Midmar as well, so they do all of these events around the country, but they are raising awareness for Flip Flop Day. So I was sitting and thinking, well, I wear flip flops every single day because it's just me. But I'm thinking, seeing as we chat so much to Nick Dreyer from Veldskoen, of course, why not get a pair of pluckies? And of course, if you're in Cape Town, you can pop down to Camps Bay and go and get a specifically wonderful pair of dedicated Camps Bay pluckies at I can't remember what Steve's restaurant is, but if you go into the restaurants and places along Camps Bay, ask for Steve. Hey, Steve, I'm here, Steve. What's you got? But why go and buy flip-flops if you don't have them, or buy pluckies. And then you can go to the website, which is choc.org.za/flip-flop day. And so, go just flip-flop day and go and get a ticket. And all of that money, of course, goes towards helping kids who've got cancer. And that's something that's very close to my heart. I've been working with them on and off for years and years and years, from the good old days back in the children's oncology unit at the Joburg Gen, as it was still then, with Sadie Cutland, who is just the most amazing woman. Get out there, think about what you can do for other people, and that's one of the things. Okay, so what have you got coming up that is going to make the news stories for SAPeople.com this coming week?
Well, because, the floods are expected to continue until Friday the 17th, we've just came in now this morning, some incredible, more incredible footage and photos from the Lowveld Botanical Garden, where they've seen incredible flooding. However, a big shout out to everybody around the country, because it's other places, it's not just up there that's been affected. It's KwaZulu-Natal and Northern Cape.
What, they have rain in the Northern Cape?
No, in fact, shame. I mean,
Limpopo.
There are places that are really battling.
What can we say? I'll be looking forward to seeing those pictures, and I know that, and videos. And videos, of course. If you are traveling, please, especially if you're going up to the Kruger and those kind of areas, just check on which roads and which gates are actually still navigable. Take a boat, canoe it. Jane, as always, it's fantastic to chat to you. We will catch up with you again next week. Of course, if you have some great heartwarming stories that you'd like to share with SAPeople.com, you can get onto the Facebook page or get hold of Jenni via the site, SAPeople.com. See you again next week, lovely.
Thank you. Bye, Mel.
Bye.
Another production from Solid Gold Podcasts.